Okay, Luis Ortiz scores a 10th round KO of Travis Kauffman. Now it says here, because Kauffman was stopped on his feet, that's normally a TKO, but apparently under California rules, that still counts as a KO. I've seen a lot of people criticizing Ortiz's performance here, saying he looked terrible, saying Dillian Whyte would destroy him on this performance. He should have taken Kauffman out early. I don't necessarily agree with that. Now, I'm not saying it was a scintillating performance. I'm not saying it was a performance that is going to turn heads or shake up the division or have the other contenders and champions shaking in their boots. Not at all. But Travis Kauffman is a very wily, awkward, savvy veteran with good defensive and survival skills. That's who Travis Kauffman is. Travis Kauffman is trained by Naseem Richardson, who spent so many years with Bernard Hopkins. And those guys who are trained by Richardson and be sparring and training in those Philly gyms, they're tough. They're savvy. A lot of savvy guys come out of them kind of gyms. And I'm not sure if Kauffman has been training in Philly, but again, he's been with Naseem Richardson, so I imagine he has been there at some point. Okay, but those guys who come out of that particular school of hard knocks, they know how to survive. Another example would be Joey DeWayco. He's a lesser known heavyweight who, he's lost multiple times, but very few fighters are going to be able to go in there and take Joey DeWayco out early. That's going to be extremely difficult. That'll probably be even more difficult than taking out Kauffman. Yeah, that's not an easy job. These guys know how to survive. They're very tough. They're taught the art of defense. They stay calm, even under pressure. Look how calm Kauffman was when he'd been dropped. The guy never panicked. Got back up, tried to fight, but he was just outgunned and outclassed, really. But the one thing, or the two things Kauffman did have was stamina. Three things, actually. Well, did he really have stamina? Let me take back the stamina and just go back to two things. The two things he had was heart and survival ability / defense. That's what Kauffman had. So I wouldn't be overly critical of Luis Ortiz's performance. It wasn't great. It wasn't scintillating. But when you're in there with a guy who is as savvy and ring hardened as Travis Kauffman and awkward and knows how to survive, he can make even world level fighters look lethargic, particularly when they're not on their best day. And that's what happened with Luis Ortiz. He was in with an awkward guy. He could have probably stepped it up earlier. Maybe Ortiz wanted the rounds. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he just couldn't take the guy out. Maybe he was worried about his own stamina. But perhaps he wanted the rounds, Who knows? But bottom line for me is, I wouldn't be so quick to say Luis Ortiz loses to Dillian Whyte and so many other heavyweights in the top 10 based upon this performance. I've never gone along with this idea that Dillian Whyte is afraid of Luis Ortiz. I've never gone along with that. But at the same time, I've always maintained that if Dillian Whyte was to fight Luis Ortiz, I'd probably pick Luis Ortiz to win. I've been very consistent with this because I'm being objective. I don't think Dillian Whyte is scared of Ortiz at all. But would I pick Whyte to beat Ortiz? Probably not. It is what it is. And that includes even now, after the Kauffman fight. Yeah. Having said that, Ortiz is definitely up there in age. And at this type of age, as a professional fighter, things can go wrong very quickly. As they say, you can get old overnight. So Luis Ortiz won't be around for too much longer. He won't be relevant for too much longer. And if he's going to make a move and try and get another crack at the heavyweight title, he needs to make that move sooner rather than later. Even if it means taking the short end of the stick, taking a seriously short end in order to secure a title shot. That's what he's going to have to do because time is running out. So he needs to keep trash talking people. But at some point, he's actually going to have to, I think, fight his way into a position to challenge for the title, to a mandatory position, or take out somebody dangerous who one of the champions didn't manage to take out as easily. For example, Povetkin. I've mentioned this before. Luis Ortiz versus Alexander Povetkin is a fight I like, and it's a fight I think makes sense. I don't know whether Povetkin would be interested, but in my opinion, Ortiz should definitely be interested. If he can take out Povetkin in better fashion than Joshua did, he gives himself a much stronger case for forcing a Joshua fight, even if he ain't mandatory. So, yeah, it's a risk. You got to take risks in his position. And it's only a risk against a guy who's coming towards the end of his career as well, in Povetkin. So, yeah. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about Luis Ortiz's performance against Travis Kauffman. Again, it wasn't a great performance, but I wouldn't go over the top with my criticism of him. That's just me. Let me know how you feel. It's happening. I'm out. Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.